Alright, I'm replacing a transmission cooler line on a 2013 Chevy Malibu 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. I did this because I actually wiped it off because it was so disgusting and filthy, but it was leaking. You could see all this crap. I'm gonna get dirty again just by touching it, but it was leaking somewhere from these clamps. I already wiped it up and down because all this rubber was like caked on grease from the transmission fluid slowly coming out. You see how that looks there in those grooves, all nasty. That's how basically the whole thing looked. So I was tired of it leaking. I don't think it was probably causing that much a loss of fluid, but I figured it was time, and I researched it, and it didn't look that hard to do. So you could see I actually took this fitting. I unscrewed this off the bottom of the radiator. So this line, I think it's actually the inlet where it goes into the radiator, and to me it's sort of counterintuitive, because this is on the bottom of the radiator and it goes up and it cools towards the top, which you would think it would come into the top of the radiator and then cool as it drops down, but it doesn't do that. It goes to the bottom and then moves, pushes. I guess it's being pumped anyways, who cares, but it gets pumped to the top and then out of the radiator and then back through another line back into the transmission, and it's just to keep the transmission fluid cool. So I'll show you. I removed the line. It went next to that one. You probably can't see it too well. I'll just come under the car and show you where it was. Turn the flash on. Okay. Alright. There. That silver thing below the radiator hose. I unscrewed that out. That's where the line is held into. Then, like I said, it's the bottom of the radiator. You get something under it. I drain my transmission fluid first into this big pan. That's over on the other side. It's on the driver's side, and you can see it's still dripping over there. It didn't matter. I still had transmission fluid drained from the line. I thought maybe that would prevent it, but it didn't. So make sure you get another, oil bucket or whatever, and get it under this side once you take that out, because that's gonna drip, and it did. So that's where that came from. I already put it on the new one, but the reason I took it out, if I could have reached the pin and got it off easily, I would have. This pin is what keeps it. You see how they're different? That just has that. It was on that before. That looks like that. If you pop that pin off, which you could just do with like a screwdriver, get below one of these, pop that off. You can see the back side. How the pin goes. I think it's called a pin. It's called like a retainer pin or something like that. Come on, focus. There it is. You could just pop that off, or needle nose pliers or something. I put a screwdriver under there and got it that way. Just be sure not to like shoot it across the driveway into the grass or something, because you're gonna need it when you put it on here, and that's what keeps it on. Like right now, I put the pin on, I think maybe it's called a cotter pin. Nah, that's not exactly a cotter pin, but whatever, retaining pin. I put it on this thing first and then slid it over here, and then it clicks on, and you can see it's tight, but this will still move, so I'll be able to tighten this in when I install it, and I'll show you where the other end is. Thankfully this is like the easier line to do, because right down there you could see between the battery box, I'll reach my finger, between the battery box and this cable, there's a right down there, there's like a bolt, or like, yeah, you can see it from this side too. It's just gonna screw down onto that, and then there's a hole, as you can see, right next to the harness. See that hole, and my line will just go down into there, gets secured onto that post, and it basically runs underneath all these harnesses, kind of like alongside that other line. That's the I guess the outlet line that goes back. And like I said, thankfully I didn't have to change that one, because I don't even know where that goes. That goes somewhere behind here. It would be much harder to reach. I'd probably have to remove the whole battery and all to get to that. I haven't even looked at that, but I didn't really worry about it because that one wasn't leaking. So thankfully I didn't have to worry. But I'm gonna get this new one on. Add the transmission flow. The transmission flow just goes right there in that little fill hole that unscrews. Move the harnesser out of the way a little bit, pour the fluid in. Basically you just measure how much came out. Mine's there. Measure that and then put that back in. It's Dextron 6 type fluid. So if you got any questions, let me know. Like and subscribe. See you guys.